Hey, want a cookie? Oh, I know you just ate, so you're craving something a little sweet. Besides, one cookie isn't gonna kill you. How about half? Just a bite? Bite it. Bite it. Bite it.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. Your affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on a path to successful weight loss by quieting food noise.
Bite it.
Shh. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
Okay, so on today's episode of Who Killed Molly Miller and Colt Haynes, for Partners in True Crime, there's been a lot of stuff happening in this case in the last couple months. It seems like there's been so much time has passed since 2013, and since they've discovered the remains and identified the remains, it seems like this is getting faster and faster. We're getting more and more information every day regarding this case. But I want to go back to the search, because when that was happening, we were getting calls just before they found the bodies, and right around Long Hollow Road. What happens then?
Someone told us that Con started a fire right where
a brush fire
right where they were searching. Now, this is not the first time that Con would have started a fire. We know that there was a fire started in 2014. We also know that he likes to poke the bear. You know, he when we came out there, he was trying to get our attention or try to scare us. He put a laser on my head. He was putting a laser on everyone on the crew. From what other people have told us, he likes to kind of just antagonize people, you know, and starting a fire right where they were starting to search is kind of suspicious, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's no definitive proof that he did it, but it was right around Long Hollow Road, and it just magically happened right when the search was happening. And it was not just one fire. There was a couple fires. And I believe way back when they started doing searches, I believe a similar thing happened. Brush fires just magically propped up whenever they would do searches. So hope to God it wasn't him, but the timing is really curious. The other thing we found out from some of our sources on the ground in that area, Oklahoma, is that during the same time when you had all those searchers and all those
people that came into town, because there was like 300 people that had come from, a lot of those people came from out of state. They were packing in to this area. And if you don't know this area, there's not much there. There's like a gas station, you know, everybody kind of knows everybody. The second we roll into town, everybody knows we're there. So it wouldn't have been a far-fetched thing for Con to know what was happening.
Yeah, everybody knew what was happening. I mean, we were getting calls left and right from neighbors that live in Long Hollow Road.
All kinds of people that we know in that area. It had nothing to do with law enforcement. It was just friends of ours who live there and are like, this is what's going on. And what's happening? So what happened? Con went to the gas station?
There was, people fueling up at the gas station, whether they were search and rescue guys or something, but we got word that Con was at that gas station and he was flipping out. He was having like a conniption, they said, and they were just sitting there watching, wondering why he is having a conniption. Why would he be having a conniption? If probably because there's 200 or so law enforcement personnel searching the area not too far from where he dumped the car. So I think he got the idea that they're closing in on where the remains were, and they did find them. So I guess, I would be freaking too.
Well, if you had something to hide, and this is the thing, look, we're not saying that Con Nip is responsible for the deaths of Molly and Colt. We don't know that. We don't have evidence of that. But we've always believed, from everyone that we've spoken to and all of the police reports that we've read and all of the recording, everything that we've researched for over 8 years on this case, we do believe that Con knows more than what he's saying about what happened that night. We still live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, but these behavior patterns are suspicious to us.
Yeah.
They're suspicious.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit, and we're going to reveal something. We got a tip the other day. We got a tip that was pretty compelling and kind of aligns up with a lot of information. And this person who gave us the tip doesn't want to be identified, so you'll hear her interview. We disguised her voice. but it aligns with a lot of the earlier tips that we had, and her experience was on literally 2 days after they went missing, after the car chase, and her experiences with Con.
Right. And so what we want to do first is we want to go back because we couldn't believe it, right? We were getting hundreds of tips. People are emailing us. And if you have emailed us and we haven't responded, I'm sorry. We're trying to get through as many as we can on a daily basis. But we will get back to you.
But what's interesting is that she came out now. And the only reason she came out now is because she was deathly afraid. She was only 15 years old at the time. This person was. So it was just.
So after listening to what she had to say, and we'll play the recording of what her statement is in a minute. But before that, we want to go back because we want to remind people of what other people have said before. So one of the tips that came in early on came into Molly's uncle and Molly's uncle, Michael Miller, and her cousin, Misty Miller, had gone out there with Michael because of this tip that had come in. So I just want to play this. It's from episode 7 of Partners in True Crime. And it's talking about a tip that Misty and Michael had gotten.
And the tip is,
is the most horrific thing that we've heard was that Molly was tied to a tree. And I know there's a lot of controversy about this tip, but we have to play it because when this new person speaks, you're going to look at the dates and you're going to hear the stories and you're going to go, wait a minute, this is lining up not only with each other, but with some police reports that we found. So let's start with Misty and let's just play that.
Yep. And we may stop it and talk about it for a little bit. Hold on.
Molly's mom and me are first cousins. Our daddies are brothers. So Alex is my uncle. Molly's grandpa is my uncle.
Wrong.
The next day, I had messaged Michael and I said, has Molly come home yet? And he said, no, they hadn't heard from her. And me and Michael, and we were trying to work during the week. You know, this is during the week, and all of us was trying to work and trying to be worried about Molly and just was hoping that she would just show up and come back home. He had got a message from his friend that Molly was tied up to a tree, and this was around the 10th. And Molly is the type of person that...
And that was around the 10th of July, 2013.
Remember that date.
Yeah, that date's important.
She's clean. If she's out in the woods, she'd be needing a bath because she'd take a shower 3 times a day. She's one of those that she likes to be clean. She's not one to sweat a lot, not even in sport. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if she was out there in the woods, she's not. She's going to find a shower somewhere. Something was wrong when she didn't show up, especially it was 90 to 100 degrees during that time. It was really hot. So I started really getting concerned. I'm not friends with Colt Haynes on Facebook, but I PM'd him on the 10th. And I screenshotted it, exactly what I said to him. And this was July 10th at 10:28 p.m. I said, hey, Colt, call me. And I gave him my number. And then the next day, July 11th, I said ASAP, and I capitalized it all. And I said, call me, bring Molly by my house now. And I did put 3 exclamation points because after Michael told me that he had heard that she got tied up to a tree, we started getting concerned. It was like, what in the world? But how Michael got that was on the 10th, his friend, mom, is a beautician. Jeremy Hodges was talking, and his friend's mom that was cutting this lady's hair was overheard her say that Greg Vickers had told her that Molly Miller was tied up to a tree. So the lady that was cutting the hair called her son. That was the roping buddies with Michael. And he messaged Michael and said, hey, I think Molly's in trouble. And so he told him. So then we started figuring out, okay, where do we start?
Okay, stop. Okay, so the gist of that is that Molly, her uncle, Michael Miller, had gotten a message from a friend of his whose mom owned the beauty shop and overheard Jeremy Hodges, who was the person that testified in the Joe Russell grand jury trial, saying that they had heard that Molly was tied up to a tree. So when Misty and Michael heard this horrific information, then they got scared, like, oh my God, what happened to Molly? Where is she? What's going on? Because you have to remember, this was like July 10th. This was 2 days after the chase. Like, they didn't really know for sure if Molly had been in that car. They didn't know. All they knew was that Molly took off with her friends. And sometimes Molly would take off with her friends and be gone for like 3 or 4 days because she was running wild as a teenager, and her mom had been fighting. So,
and Joe Russell's spreading the whole thing. They went to Wichita Falls.
Right,
So
spreading
maybe
the rumor that they're runaways. So people weren't thinking like anything could have happened. So when they heard this rumor, they got really scared. And that's when they started to say, oh my gosh. And so now Misty is reaching out to Colt Haynes. She doesn't know Colt Haynes. She gets in touch with Colt's sister, Monique. And this is what she says about that.
The 11th, and I said, do you know a Colt Haynes? I didn't have a clue. Someone had told me that they were brother and sisters, but I wasn't sure. Anyway, she said, yeah, that's my brother. And she said, I don't see him a lot, but she let me know that he lived where he lived on that street, as she was staying with Josh Davis. So that kind of rang a bell. Okay. Anyway, she's the one how I got the information about the refrigerator. And she told me that, I believe, on the 12th. Let me go back on my notes right quick. 11th or 12th. She said Rob Branch took them a refrigerator to where they were staying. As far as I knew him and Con hated each other. So I don't know why they would be together. Because I told her about that. That's what we heard.
Who hated each other?
Oh, Con and Colt. The sister said as far as she knew, she didn't know why they were even together because Con and Colt hated each other. But she knew that someone had messaged her that Rob Branch took them a refrigerator out there.
Out where?
Out to Con's grandparents.
So that was on
the 11th.
the 11th.
That was on the 11th.
This whole refrigerator thing has been a big speculation as well. We don't know what the refrigerator was for. We don't know why he asked to have a refrigerator brought out there, but that's interesting. It's an interesting detail. So now the next episode is from episode 11. This is a witness, an alleged witness, who said that he saw Molly tied to a tree, and he told Paula the story. And Paula and Misty ran through the woods to go meet him. It's a crazy story. This is episode 11.
Yeah, they hunted him down in the woods, traveled down through the woods, Misty and Paula, and just interrogated him right in the woods.
And this is what he had to say.
I just told right before y'all pulled up. I just said something's coming. I said, I don't know what.
Can I have the gun?
No, ma'am. Sure can't do that.
Can you show it to me? Just let me see it.
The gun's cursed, I'm telling you.
Oh, it's cursed.
It's awful.
I know. But, we've been 8 years of hurt. So nothing even, we've heard the worst. And just what you said, I
You
believe.
know what it took me to get that gun to
Do you believe it's the right gun?
I know it's the gun.
How do you know?
I know for a fact. I watched them shoot them. I know everything. I watched them shoot them point
Whose
blank.
gun was it? It was probably a stolen gun, wasn't it?
Sure is. It's a cop's gun. 357 mag.
Okay. Tell us what's going on here.
Okay, so he had been discussing what had transpired. He claims that he tells us that he was there when Colt and Molly were shot. He tells us exactly where Molly was when she was shot. She was tied to a tree on the northeast side of the shop building on the Nip property.
Stop. Okay. So keep that detail. That detail's important. Paula says that the witness told her that Molly was tied up to a tree near the shop on the northeast corner of the Nip property.
So now that's two sources now, two separate sources.
Wait, and we have another one.
And then we have a third one.
So this is from the Love County Sheriff's Department. A deputy named Freddie Lawson on July 13th, 2013 at 12:30 p.m. On said date, I, Deputy Freddie Lawson, received a call from Carter County Deputy Daniel King in reference to a missing female, Molly Miller, who possibly might be in the Long Hollow Road area. Deputy King wanted to know if I, Deputy Lawson, could assist him and see if we could gain permission to look on the property of John Nip, where it was reported she might be tied to a tree. I, Lawson, advised Deputy King to contact my sheriff, who was more familiar with Mr. Nip and could possibly help. I, Lawson, also placed a call to my undersheriff, Harvey Stewart, but was unsuccessful. Sheriff Joe Russell called back and stated that he had received a phone call and said it was okay to go look for the female. Sheriff Russell also advised that Colt Haynes could possibly be staying at Clay Knipp's residence on Oswald Road. The female, Miller, could possibly be with him. Now, let's be clear here. This is a statement from a deputy from Love County Sheriff's Department stating that Joe Russell stated that he received a phone call from Deputy King who said that they could go look for the female. And Sheriff Russell also advised that Colt Haynes could possibly be staying at Clay Knipp's residence on Oswald Road. And the female, Miller, could possibly be with him. Now, hold on a second. Didn't Joe Russell say that they were runaways and they were in Wichita Falls? This is on July 13th. So now this story about them being in Wichita Falls and being runaways is already out there. The media has already been told this isn't a story. They're runaways. Forget about them. So why is he telling a deputy that Colt Haynes and Molly Miller might be hanging out on Oswald Road at the Knipp house? I don't know. You tell me what that means. So then, upon arriving at Clay Knipp's residence, I got out at the fifth wheel trailer and knocked on the door. As King and his partner walked towards the second trailer, south of the trailer Lawson was at, King was in front 20 yards south of me when King stopped and was looking south towards a pickup. Lawson heard his partner say loudly, "Look out." A large brown dog came charging out from under the trailer, west of King's location, growling and barking. It quickly made a half circle and lunged towards Deputy King as he drew his weapon and fired one shot, stopping the dog. I returned to my vehicle and called my sheriff to advise him of what happened. Sheriff Russell said to go to Clay Knipp's father's house and see if they could contact Clay Knipp and inform him of what had happened. At that time, Clay burst out of the house, cussing King. King politely explained what had happened. The dog was attempting to attack him. He had no choice for his own safety. Clay said, "That's right, shoot a dog for doing what it was supposed to do." Horrible that the poor dog got shot in the middle of this. At that time, Clay and another male stood in the yard cussing and acting out of control. And Deputy Lawson, called both my sheriff and undersheriff to advise of the incident. The search for the female was ended at that point for the officer's safety. So
the rest of it doesn't really tell anything.
That's
else.
not anything about that. But it's kind of strange that Joe Russell's telling a deputy that Colt and Molly are potentially on Long Hollow Road at a Knipp house when he's telling everybody else that they're in Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Michael Miller had found out that Molly was potentially tied to a tree, he went and filed a police report. And Carter County went out to Long Hollow Road to see if they could find Molly after getting this tip. And this was on July 10th. So he went to Long Hollow Road. Long Hollow Road was blocked off. And Sheriff Joe Russell said Con was babysitting his nephew and everything was fine. So that the people from Carter County never went down there to look. And Michael didn't go down there to look either because they were told to leave by Joe Russell.
So there's a lot of things converging here. And the reason why we're telling you all this ahead of time, because the recording that we're going to play for you in the next minute is pretty damning and it's pretty emotional. This person has been holding on to this thing for a very long time. They were a very young person at the time, just younger than Molly at the time. So, and she ran with all these people. So just for her own protection, we've altered her voice. So if you hear her voice, it sounds a little weird. She's not coming on camera. So what we want to do is play this in its entirety so you guys can hear this, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So we're going to play it right now. All right, so we have someone on the phone today who we're not going to identify, who has some interesting information about Molly and Colt a couple days after they went missing. And we're not going to identify this person just to protect their identity, but we're very thankful that she came forward. And a lot of what she says kind of matches up with a lot of our investigation, some of the other witness testimony and statements that we've had on this podcast. So first off, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that day. I think you said it was around the 9th or the 10th
Of July.
of July, shortly after when Molly and Colt went missing.
Yeah, it was. I was with my friends, and I drove them out there the first day, and we were just gonna go out there and supposedly hang out and get high
With who?
with Con. And we got there, and plans changed.
When you say go out there, where are you talking about?
To Oswald, to his grandparents' house.
Okay. Go ahead.
So when we get out there, the plans had changed. He disappeared for a while, then he came back, and we ended up going to the dollar store in Long Grove with him. We hopped in his truck, and he had them go in, and he wanted them to steal some spray paint. So they got the spray paint, and then we go back to his grandparents' house, and then I ended up having to leave because I had to get the vehicle back. And I want to say my friends came with me that time. Then the next morning, he called, and they went and picked him up, and I was with them. He got in the car. He was out of his mind. He dropped a gun in the floorboard, money. I mean, I don't know. I was scared to death.
And this is Con, right?
Yeah. And then we went way out in the country somewhere. I don't know if it's maybe Fox or I don't know. They have like a gate. You had to give your ID to get a sticker or something. And it was someone's birthday or graduation, maybe. And we went there first, and then lived there. Stopped at a house, and he told us all to sit in the car. He ran in, and we heard some loud noises, and he came out, and we were like, "What was that noise?" And he was like, "Oh, it was just a water heater exploding." And
what kind of noise was it? It
was like loud booms. And we ended up going back to his grandparents. We went inside for a minute. Then I stepped outside because they were, I guess, supposedly seeing Colby and Con, and they went inside and did their thing, and I was just outside for a minute. Then they all come out, and he has us all get on top of the roof. We're all sitting there, and I see somebody out there in the field on the four-wheeler, and Con's making calls back and forth to him. He started saying that it was time to feed them, but he forgot which tree they were tied up to, and then he would tell himself to shut up and start talking to himself. Then at one point the house phone kept ringing, and he climbed down and went and got on the house phone, came back up and got on the roof and told us that we needed to hurry and get down and go home because the police were on their way. We all got down and went and hid in the pool room, and we seen a truck coming down the road, and he went down and let them into the field. They were down there for a little while. Then he came back, and the truck was way out in the field, and the person on the four-wheeler, which I'm assuming was Cole because he was the only other one that I had seen it at that point. And we ended up after that, we ended up going down past his grandparents to a little camper, I think. And there was a few people in there, but I have no idea who they were. One person they said was dope sick and to leave them alone and not mess with them. And during all this, my sister's messaging, wanting to know where I was because she had a bad feeling and she needed to come and get me. And I told them, and he okayed for her to come and get me. And then he's on the phone with Sabrina, and she hears us girls in the background giggling and laughing and stuff, and she got upset and told him that he was going to have to come up with a alibi because she wasn't going to lie for him no more.
Who wasn't going to lie for him?
Sabrina.
Sabrina was who?
She was on the phone. I never seen her. She was just on the phone. I think that was Sophia's girlfriend.
That was Khan's girlfriend. She owned the car that was in the high-speed chase.
Yeah, and he was supposed to go meet her, but that never, I guess, didn't happen because she heard us and got pissed. And when my sister did pick me up, he shot up at the vehicle.
He did what?
Either one of the two.
He did what? Repeat that again.
He shot a gun like up in the air at the vehicle as we were driving off.
So Khan shot a gun up in the air as you and your sister were driving off.
Yeah, we don't know if it was up in the air or at the vehicle. We just know it didn't hit us. Because he kept trying to say that we were going to go deer hunting that night. And my two friends, they said they would not come with me whatsoever. When they finally were found by their parents, their vehicle had been stripped inside and out, like there was nothing left of the vehicle besides the frame. I tried asking them what happened, and they really didn't want to talk about it. They said that it was horrible. They were running through woods all night. I'm like, well, why is the vehicle stripped down? And they said something about he had went and stole cameras from a gas station. At the time, I didn't think about it, but now that I think about that, it just don't make sense for him to strip the vehicle down over that, I don't know. But yeah, they said they had to run through the woods with guns all night. That's all I could ever get out of them.
So when he said that there were people tied to a tree that he had to feed, but he didn't know where the tree was, who do you think that was?
Well, he was saying Molly and Colt. He was carrying on conversations about them. He would say little things here and there. It's been so long ago. That was the main thing that I remember him saying.
So he was saying that Molly and Colt were tied to a tree.
Yeah. And then he would be like, "Con, shut up. And why'd you say that? I'm just kidding. They're really like," he would just go back and forth with himself.
And he was high.
He was high, but I think it was more so like, I don't know, he was out of his mind. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I've never seen anyone act how he was acting just off of the drug.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes, at the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today, and let us surprise you.
And do you think it was Colby Barrick who was on a four-wheeler?
Yes.
And how long had you known Khan prior to this point?
I really didn't know him. I'd heard of him, but I never had really been associated with him.
And you went out there, this was, what day was it?
The first time I went out there was on the 9th.
The 9th of?
July.
In what year?
Oh gosh, I don't even.
2013?
Yeah.
This is July 9th, 2013, just a day or two after Molly and Colt went missing.
Yes.
And when he said the cops were coming down there, did you see them or did you know who?
No, I never seen any lights, nothing that looked like cops. He said they were coming in helicopters and everything, and nothing. All I seen was the truck coming down the road.
Did he say why they would be coming for that area and with the helicopters and the cops?
Oh yeah, he said they were coming to
search his property?
Yeah.
For Molly and Colt?
Yeah, and this was out it was late in the night. Maybe it had to be after midnight.
Did you find that strange when he said that?
I did. And that's when we was hiding in that pool room, and I was peeking, looking, like, what is going on? And
How old were you at that time?
I was probably only 15, 16 at the most. I know I didn't have my license. I know that much, and my sister was mad because I took off in her car and didn't even really know how to drive.
So your friends, they stayed and they went out in the woods with him all night, and then their car was stripped?
No, okay, so the second day, because we all came back on the first day. The second day, yeah, they drove out there in their vehicle and stayed. And whenever their parents, because I went and told their parents where they were and who they were with, and, I think they had to go out there and find them. And when they found them, they didn't have a vehicle. And we went to a salvage yard or record place, like on Sam Noble and Ardmore, and the car was just a frame.
Wow. So do they, I mean, who do they think did that? Strip the car?
Well, they said Quan did. Oh.
Did they actually see him do it?
Yeah, I believe so. They were with you the whole night.
So he basically stripped their car and sold it for parts?
No. He just stripped the car and then left them to figure it out, I guess.
So he didn't want them to get away. That's what it sounded like.
I feel like that's what it was, and if their parents went down with it. I don't know.
So he basically, willfully stranded them by stripping down their car, knowing that they wouldn't be able to put it back together.
Right. Wow. They didn't want to talk about any of it too much to me. I didn't want to ask too many questions because I was so terrified of just what I had heard. And
Yeah. What did you hear at that point that made you terrified?
I mean, the fact that I was on that roof and I seen that dog going back and forth and what he was saying and just how he was reacting, dropping the gun, the money, and I felt and knew they were out there alive, and I didn't know what was really going on. I didn't know if we were all gonna die, if he had already killed. I really didn't know, but I knew, and I don't know.
It sounds terrifying for a 15-year-old girl. I can't imagine what you were feeling. And not knowing what's going on, hearing this person walking around in this stupor, saying these terrifying things. I can't even imagine how you felt. It sounds really scary. I would be scared if that happened to me at this age, much less at 15 years old.
Did you have any idea what Khan's reputation was or that area prior to going in that area?
Not really. I knew he used drugs and stuff, but other than that, no.
And you guys were just going to party with him. You didn't know. Had you heard about Molly and Colt at that point, like the high-speed chase or anything?
I did hear about it, yes.
Did Khan talk about it with you guys at all? Was he bragging or?
He didn't talk about it, but he said that it wasn't, he said it wasn't him, and I don't know. He would say one thing and then another, but it's been so many years ago, and I don't remember what all he was saying. I feel like I remember that him having a phone that wasn't his, that he kept having them text people on, and I don't know why. That's just now coming to me, but
What made you believe that it wasn't his phone?
Because I remember him, for some reason, I feel like I remember him standing on that porch, and he was like, I need y'all to turn the phone on and just text people or something. I don't know. He was like, this ain't mine. And
so
I want to say that one of us was like, well, what is it? Whose is it? Or something.
So he basically gave you guys the phone to answer texts that were coming in from that phone?
Well, I didn't get the phone. One of them did, but I could be mistaken, but I'm almost positive, yeah.
So when he said that they were tied, Molly and Colt were tied to a tree and they had to be fed, did anyone go out there?
No, not long after that. That's whenever Colby on the 4-wheeler and then the truck pulls up. And they were out there in that field.
Was it a field on their property?
Okay, so if you're on the roof, it would be like back towards, because we were facing not the front of the house, towards facing the opposite direction. And it would have been like to the right, to the back, like before you got to their grandparents' house.
So it was on their property.
Yeah. There was like a gate down some ways that I guess he had to go open or two of them because he opened the first one, then he ran up a little bit and opened another one.
And do you remember if it was daylight or nighttime when he said the police were coming?
It was night.
They said around midnight, right?
Yeah.
Were you freaked out at all when he said that?
I was freaked out pretty much the whole entire time. Like, I was there. I was just trying to, remain calm and act like I had no clue about anything. And wasn't hearing anything that he was saying.
Did you think that Molly and Colt were still alive at that point?
I did. I called that number whenever I had. It was like a 1-800 number or something. I remember calling it. Because my mom's like, that's your life that you're going to live. I'm like, but Mama, I've got to do this. And I remember standing in the trailer and I was talking to them on the phone. I'm like, they're alive out there.
So you called the 800 number on the flyer?
Yes.
And what did you tell him? You basically told him what you're telling us right now?
I probably didn't go into detail and tell him everything about getting high and drugs and stuff because I was a kid, I was scared to death. But I told him, that we was out there and he said they were tied to the tree and it was time for him to eat and all that, yeah.
Did you ever see Con after that?
I was working at Walmart and I had seen him at Walmart one time and it terrified me.
How long after?
Oh, gosh. It would have been, I want to say maybe a few years because I had to have kids by then.
Yeah.
My daughter was born in 2014, my first one, so it was after that.
All right. So when you made the call to the tip line, what did they ask you any question? Would they ask you any questions, or they just take your statement?
They took my statement, my name, my address, and my number, I believe.
And was there any follow up to you after that?
No.
That's interesting.
There hasn't been a follow up since the one that I called in recently either.
Okay. So how does it all make you feel at this point? I mean, it's been a very long time, and I think when you were on the phone with Cindy, you talked about what did you think when they found the remains and they identified the remains?
I actually had a message pulled out the night before. I had no idea that they were fixing to be searching for them again. And she was like, I don't know, there was some stuff, and I had messaged Paula, and I woke up the next morning and I grabbed my phone, and the first thing I seen was they found found two remains that they thought was Molly and Colt, and ever since I felt horrible. I've cried and I've cried. It's like I could convince myself all these years we were just high tripping, or there's hope that they're still alive.
Okay.
Now it's reality. It's just why didn't I call right then? Why wasn't I, like I can't just make excuses anymore, and like it's actually real. It really happens, and I don't know.
Well, you did call. You did call.
You did call, and you were a kid, so don't.
And like right then, whenever I don't know, just all kinds of things. I'm like, why didn't I do something right then? Why didn't I just go out there? Like why didn't I do something? I feel like there's more that I could have done, and I don't know.
I'm so
I have
sorry.
kids now, and I look at them, and I'm like, that could easily have be one of my kids, or that could have been me multiple times, and I would have wanted someone to do something, and I feel like I didn't do everything that I could have.
Well, you were just a kid, and you did the best you could do under those circumstances. So don't blame yourself for this. And you did what you could do. It's terrifying. This guy has been terrifying this area for years. And you're not the first person to tell us these stories. But you're really brave, and it's really good that you are sharing this.
And I'm constantly like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like he's around, or he's, I don't know, it's the worst. I had supposed to be going to take me out to these little cabins on Oswald, and she I don't know, she was just making comments all day, and when we get out there, she's messaging Colby. And when we pulled up, we had two other friends with us, and she grabbed a shotgun shell. And my oldest daughter was with my mom, and we'd get inside the cabin, and our mom messaged. She was like, "Hey, are you okay? We're driving down the road, and your daughter said my mom had died." And I'm like, "Whoa!" And I tell my friend, I'm like, "Hey, you need to take me to my kid." And she's like, "Why?" And I explained to her, and she's like, "No, I'm not taking you." And she's like, "You'll have to steal the car." So I got convinced the two people that was out there that one of them had a license to please just trust me and let's go. And as we were pulling out by that gas station, the gate was fixing to shut on us, and there was someone coming up on the 4-wheeler.
And when was this?
Oh gosh, this was probably in 2017.
So like 4 years later.
Yeah, and I don't know. Come to find out, I guess she's in prison now for manslaughter or murder or something.
And why were you out there with them? Was it drugs again, or?
Well, this is actually a friend that I grew up with. I mean, we'd been friends for a long time, and my sister had kicked me out, and she told me I could come out there with her and stay, and yeah, that's how it ended up. But come to find out, I guess they believe that you can sacrifice people, and I don't even know. There was some weird stuff that she was off into.
Wow.
And she's in prison now?
Yes.
So you were still a teenager at that time, pretty much.
Yeah.
So what have you been thinking about all these years, knowing all this stuff and hearing all the stories and the reports about this case?
I thank God that I made it out. I've always wanted to know why. I feel like there's more than what we're all knowing. I don't think he just was crazy and, just had a moment. I think there was more to it than that. I don't know. All these years I've never been able to let it go. And don't even know.
Well, you're not the only one. You're not the only person who've told us stories about like this and has been afraid to come forward. And I know you're very brave for doing it, but just I think we're at a crucial point in this case, and it's important for people like yourself who have had interactions and around this case to come forward and speak, because now that we know where Molly and Colt were and they've been found, they've been identified, I think it's important because justice has to come.
Mm-hmm. It does. So how are you doing now? You said you've been sober and taking care of your kids. And
I was clean for 5 years, and then I came back here. I'm relapsed, and I'm not sober again. I've lost my kids, and I'm starting all over again.
Well, you be strong, and you just stay on the path.
So I got tested. I've questioned it 100 times. Why am I not here? You know, and maybe it was so I could finally heal and let go, and Molly can get the justice that she deserves, and then can be locked up.
Yeah. Did you know of Molly at that point?
I never really, I didn't never meet her. I think I might have seen her one time, but it was just like a high and by thing, but I never knew her or anything.
Who was the connection to Con that day? Like, who was it? One of your friends, or did he?
Yeah, my two friends knew him.
Yeah. Are you still friends with those two friends?
I haven't talked to him or seen him in a long, long time. I'd seen one of them probably 2 years ago at a store or a year ago, and we said hi to each other, and that was about it.
Yeah. Well, it's a very interesting and compelling story and an account that you had, and I think it's super important that you came out, because, like I said, this case is at a very crucial point, and now that the bodies have been found and identified, I think it's important that, you know, law enforcement, and you said you reported this to law enforcement as well, so they have the information. So have you had any follow-up with them after that?
No, they have not contacted me since.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. I think it's, like Rob said, it's really important for people to tell the truth and tell their experiences and not be afraid. So we thank you.
And we
are doing all of this because justice has to be served. People can't get away with just murdering other people.
And it also confirms a lot of the stories that have been reported to us and tips. We've gotten so many tips on this case, and it's pretty consistent with what we've heard and what people have told us. So you're not the only one. And we knew at one point people were going to start coming out of the woodwork and start telling about their experiences. But like yourself, you were scared. And I understand why you're being scared, because that area, it's, you know, people, obviously Molly and Colt disappeared, you know, for a very long time. And so I understand why people in that area are scared. Now that you've heard the entire recording, we want to know what you guys think. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this person who came out? What do you think about what she said about Con and what he said that night? And what do you think about who's responsible for this horrific crime? We want to hear from you. So please reach out to us. And if you have anybody else out there who has tips and who has remembered, because this person who came out just recently to us, she was with other people. Okay. So there's other people that know what's going on here.
I mean, this is your community. You know, if this person knows what happened to Molly and Colt and they were murdered, do you really want this person running around your community? I mean, justice has to be served here. Isn't that the point of all of this? People can't just go around doing whatever they want.
Yeah, because it's all happening very fast. Like we said earlier, the investigation is on turbo right now. So if you have something you want to say, now's the time to say it.
And I think it's really sad. I mean, I feel bad for these girls. They were young girls. I feel bad for, I even feel bad for Con's ex-girlfriend, Sabrina. She was dragged into the middle of this. Her car was used that night for the high-speed chase. And she was being used as an alibi for this.
Yeah.
And that's not the only time we've heard this. We've heard it multiple times that Sabrina was giving an alibi. And we know that she said that the car was stolen because she got charged with insurance fraud.
Yeah, and she had no culpability in any of this stuff.
No.
She was a innocent bystander that was used.
By a guy. You know,
Yes.
we've all had bad guys in our lives. And I think it's sad. It's sad because you shouldn't be attached to something like this. If you know something, it's better to get ahead of it.
Yeah. So Sabrina, if you're listening to this, we'd love to talk to you because we have nothing but nice thoughts about you. You were a rock in a hard place, and we understand what you were dealing with. So anyway, listen after the tape. You've heard it all. Please let us know what you think.
Thanks, everyone.